I know I keep talking about this, about CERN and the Large Hadron Collider, but Jesus has showed me dreams. I had a dream that I was inside the belly of the serpent, and I was standing in the middle on this octagonal looking, like, button thing, okay? It was really big, and it was in the center of this circular room. And the room was surrounded by television screens all around me, surrounding me. I was in the middle, the center of the room. And I looked way up, and nothing but television screens all the way up. I mean, I couldn't even see the end of it. And each television screen had one face in it. Each face, or each screen, I could lift my hand up and literally, like, not say nothing, do nothing, but pull that screen down by just putting my hand up there. And then I could look at the eyes in the screen of the person's face, and I could tell everything about this person. I didn't have to read nothing. I didn't have to speak. It didn't speak through the television, nothing. It was just read everything, or I felt everything about this person, okay? I did that 3 different times. 3 different screens I was able to pull down and, like, inside feel everything about this person that was to know. Well, I had this dream, and I went to work the next morning, and an older guy, he's like in his 70s, he was sitting outside, and I went outside to take a break, and I sat down beside him, and out of nowhere, he starts telling me about a dream that he had years ago. That he was in the desert, and there was a serpent in front of him, and it was all these different screens, different types of screens, not just a specific screen, but different types of screens. And it made up this serpent. The whole serpent was made up of screens, and he was in front of it. He was in the desert, standing in the sand, and he was in front of this serpent. And he tells me this dream, and I'm like, dude, just like 2 nights ago, I just had a dream. Like, I had a dream, but I was inside the serpent. Well, just a few days ago, we were talking, and my buddy said, we started talking about our dreams, and he said, Ashley, you were on the inside looking out, and I was on the inside looking. You were on the inside looking out, and I was on the outside looking in. And I was like, what? Like, we've never really talked about it, like what it meant. Y'all, Lucifer has been on this planet. He's been walking to and fro throughout the whole earth. Job 1, chapter 1. Lucifer knows about technology. He's the one that's bringing the technology about. Yahweh God Almighty has allowed him to bring this technology upon the earth, but it has to happen for prophecy to be fulfilled. What Lucifer is trying to do is the same thing that Yahweh God Almighty is. Omnipotent. Yahweh God Almighty is everywhere and in everything, and can be everywhere all the time in everything. And Lucifer is mimicking Yahweh God Almighty, because he's trying to be everywhere, omnipotent, to make us feel like we can't get anywhere. He's doing miracles, upon the earth, and he's been given this power, okay? So he's trying to be like Yahweh God Almighty, and he's got to get it just right, just real close to make it seem right to us. Well, I mean, this technology is pretty amazing. It's a miracle all on its own. I mean, you can send things and transfer things through the air, text messages and stuff. Ain't that pretty weird, right? You can send letters, words, through the air to get to somebody else. Or I can do a picture right here, and y'all can see this, and you can see it 4 months from now. You can see exactly what I'm doing right now. Pretty strange stuff, if you think about it. Revelation speaks of a seed of Satan. Says that you who know where the seed of Satan is. That's in one of the churches, Revelation chapter 2 and 3 of the book of Revelation. Not sure which church it is, but it's one of them that knows where the seed of Satan is. So Satan, Lucifer, has a seat, right? So that means he's sitting on it. And he's trying to gain and get control of all human beings so that he can get us to go against our will, just like what happened with Balak and Balaam, the prophet and the king, about the talking donkey. The prophet would not curse Israel because he couldn't. Yahweh God Almighty told him he couldn't. He blessed them all 3 times. So what did he do the third time after he blessed them? The king said, "Why have you blessed them? I've asked you to curse them. How dare you?" And because the prophet was greedy, he said, well, "I can't curse them, but I can tell you what I can do. I can give you information. You can send your whores down there, okay, your prostitutes, to the men, and the men will turn against the things of Yahweh God Almighty and go against their will." And that's exactly what happened. Well, I don't know if y'all know about the book of Revelation, but also in the book of Revelation, in one of those little churches that he speaks about in chapter 2 and 3, Balak and Balaam, who taught the seducing spirit of the Jezebel, I believe that's what's up. It's in there. It's in Revelation. He's speaking about Balak and Balaam. Speaking about Balak and Balaam in the book of Revelation. So there are things that happen that are going against our will and having us to go against our will. There's a lot of sexual perversion that's happening around the world, and that's one of the main things to get us as humans to fall against our will, and that's what Lucifer wants. He wants us in these little boxes, and he wants to control every single movement that we do. And if we, as Yeshua Bible-thumping believers, will stand against and ask our Father to bless us with spiritual discernment, he will help us to, in every single way, to not be deceived by this wickedness that Lucifer is doing on the earth right now. This all has to do with yoga, has to do with Shiva, the Large Hadron Collider. Because if you think about it, the dreams that we had was of a snake that was made up of screens. And where does our technology come out of? Screens, every one of them. So you've got Mecca. The Muslims walk around this big black cube box in Mecca. You have the Jews that are not Jesus, Yeshua believing. They don't believe Yeshua's came back yet. They're the ones that are building this third temple. They wear a black box right here on their forehead that sticks out about like that far, okay? Also, you have the Masons. And in their main temple, in the main temple of the Masons, they have a big black marble cube. It could be onyx. That's sitting in the middle of their get-together room, their conference room. And I noticed it the other day when I was watching a video. It's got Hebrew letters around it. I'll be that Hebrew letters. I'll tell you what, that's some powerful stuff right there. And they're even using it. There's something to that. There's something to the letters, especially the Hebrew language. It's a beautiful language. But they're using it against our Father. Even in Ezekiel, I believe it's Ezekiel chapter 8. Yes, 6 or 8. Where he's talking about you who have defiled my secret places. Okay? You who have defiled my secret places. I believe that's the Jews that don't believe in Yeshua. Alright? But okay, we got all these little black boxes. Everybody's looking in these black boxes. All this technology, it's all in these little black boxes. And what everybody's walking around and using these black boxes and worshiping them in some sort of way. They're involved in the occult things.